It's the PokerNews Podcast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 830th episode of the PokerNews Podcast. I am Chad Holloway, joined by Mike Holtz and Kyna England at Level 9 Studio here in Las Vegas, and we've got another great show for you. We're going to start off right away. Chris Moneymaker. Moneymaker boom?
That boy's cranking.
I mean, Part 2.
Yeah, wins a Triton High Roller at $25K, the first event of the Triton Super High Roller Series in Montenegro, and he wins it for $903,000.
Like,
that's pretty good. Yeah, I'd be pretty stoked if I were him. I'd be like, wow, cool.
And he just had that deep run in the Venom, so good for him. It's like $1 million a month for him.
It's, switching from PokerStars, a longtime ambassador, to now the unregulated offshore site that shall not be named.
Yeah, we're never.
But seems like probably a good decision on his part in terms of, he gets to travel less, but when he does get to go, he gets to go play some of these big buy-ins. And I mean, $900K for Moneymaker, that's pretty big. I think a lot of...
No, it's huge. Yeah.
Maybe like for us, Moneymaker got people, right? Like, is that how you got into the game?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, I watched him win the World Series, and that's like right about when I started playing poker.
I think a lot of people are getting in, like, the 18 to 25-year-olds right now are like, might not even know much about Moneymaker. Vlogs and such. But for the rest of us, I don't know. I thought that was pretty impressive. And like, I know Chris. I've known Chris for a long time. I'm happy to see it. He's not in the solver streets.
Yeah.
He's
for sure.
He even said, I think he tweeted out, he's like...
I was just going to say that, like his tweet, that he said that he studied ICM for the Venom, and then he was like, fuck it, and just went with it, went ape on the Triton series.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Fuck up ICM. So Chris Moneymaker takes that one down. Like I said, $903,000. It's still happening. He's still playing right now, so who knows if he ships another one. I don't know what his plans are for the WSOP. He usually doesn't come out and grind the full thing. So like that's why he wanted to switch as an ambassador in the first place, because he was traveling literally all around the world for years, since he won in 2003, pretty much up till like 4 years ago. He said, I want to pull back. I want to spend more time at home.
Sure.
He's got the Moneymaker tour.
Isn't that happening right now too? And he went ahead and went to Triton instead, huh?
Yeah.
That's funny.
What a genius he is for that older than Moneymaker tournament. God, imagine having your own poker series and you get to make a tournament where, this one, everyone's just got to be older than me. I don't know. It's so
like,
strong.
Yeah.
It's
he
won the first one, didn't he? I think he did.
My very first WSOP out here, I was so green. I think it might have been 2019. I saved up and I had planned, and I was like, I'm going to play 2 events. And I think I played the Colossus, and I wanted so bad to make the day 2. And I did. And on the day 2, I think on my restart, I think it was the Colossus, I believe. But on my restart, it was, that one takes forever because they're like, oh, cash out, break,
Sure.
But I was taking pictures of looking at who was around me, and Chris Moneymaker was sitting right behind me. And I thought that was so cool. It was my very first WSOP. I'm I used to watch you play. You kind of brought me into poker, and he's sitting right behind me,
That's one of the coolest feelings of WSOP, your first time there when you're walking around and you're just looking around, you're like, oh my God, they're everywhere. I know all these people. It's so surreal how close. You don't expect it, or I didn't expect it my first time being at the series. I didn't think, I'd be allowed in the same section as Graton and Hellmuth and all them.
Or maybe even at the same table.
No, no, exactly, yeah. And then that same series, I remember I was at the bank trying to withdraw $700, and Moneymaker was in line in front of me, and I was trying not to fanboy so hard, but we ended up talking a little, and he was a really nice guy. Yeah. Cool people.
I think, now he's got some money. Maybe if I see him, Chris, put me in something.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, Chris, what's really good?
Hey, you brought me to the game. Now let's go.
Moneymaker is the one, if I could name one person who will always have a quote-unquote job in poker, it'll be Chris Moneymaker, right? Any room would be happy to bring him in for the same reason. And everybody would love to play with Chris Moneymaker.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Graton, you and Hellmuth are there too, I think.
And how are you born with that name and then you don't gamble? It's just so a calling. It's your last name is Moneymaker. You have to be a degenerate. I think it's a rule.
Yeah, no, I actually agree with you. I think you're right. Yeah, that's written in the laws of physics, actually. Yeah.
I don't make the rules.
Triton Poker was kind enough to let us show a clip from Moneymaker's victory. So here's the final hand that clinched him the $903,000.
Roughly a 2-1 chip lead for some forsaken reason, but as we can see there, it's 5-3. Ace-10 suited here for Moneymaker. He makes it $1.25 million to go. Ace-8 for Kim.
Oh, well.
Oh, boy.
Kim and I don't have the same coach.
He has chosen to jam.
Oh, boy. You got like sevens.
Moneymaker's not going to fold this.
No, sir. Suspecting that maybe it was one of those middling pairs, and instead, as we can see, it is a dominant ace and a dominant position. He finds himself here. On his feet. 68%.
Thank you.
For a Triton title. Wow.
10-9-3 brings him ever closer to that title.
Yeah,
now
wouldn't mind seeing a 3 right
95%.
That flop is one-way traffic, sir.
Ace.
An 8
Happened
on
before.
the turn.
It has.
Running trips. That's
Come
what
to
it's going to
shake your
take for
hand.
Brian Kim to double and stay alive, and he isn't able to do it. So a very short-lived heads-up battle will yield Chris Moneymaker his first ever Triton title here at his second ever festival. For Brian Kim, left to collect second place, $609,000. That's what he's going to be adding to his career Triton total. Coming into this one, roughly $4.2 million. It's going to be his 15th cash. But for Moneymaker,
What's that?
an actual Cinderella story.
All right, so there you have it. Chris Moneymaker defeating Brian Kim to take down that Triton title.
And Brian Kim, super stud. I've been watching him since like 2018 live at the bike. He was playing cash, and I remember thinking like he was one of the best players in the world. And yeah, it's great to see him with all the success he's had. I've played with him a couple times live, and really nice guy. And I would say for how good he is at poker, very underrated in the community. And I think more people should definitely know about him. He's an absolute stud.
Are you sure? Because he lost heads up to Chris Moneymaker.
Yeah.
What a loser.
Speaking of, you said live at the bike. The next one is Hustler Casino Live that we're going to talk about. And somebody we talked briefly about off air, Arden Cho.
Yeah, Arden. I love Arden. I mean, I played with her in the 10K a couple years back, and she ran really deep, and they had her on the feature table, and she was just playing like how she played. She was playing aggro. She was getting away with stuff. It was awesome. Like I heard about, she built a big stack. I had a conversation with her afterwards though. And I don't know, like not to out her or anything, but she was pretty hard on herself. You know, like I went up and I was like, hey, oh my God, that was so great. What a great showing. And she just immediately was like, no, I messed up. And
From
it's
the
like,
recent one, or?
No, it was 2 years ago.
Okay.
So maybe she's, gotten more out of her head. And I think she was green at the time in tournaments too. Like she'd just been playing cash, but she was really cool. And then like the next day we came back and there were something like 3 ladies still left in that tournament. And she came up and she was like, oh, hey, that was really cool, like bringing me out of my head a little bit. But, I was hyping her up. She's got this style of play. Like she's like a female Rampage, I think, she just goes for it. And it's great. Like sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But people watch this and they're like, punt. And yeah, it wasn't like the greatest, but also like you have to realize that they were playing the stand-up game too. So She was trying to earn herself a button. And also, yeah, you lose, but she's going for it. Good for her. I like her in poker.
She's great for the game as far as like being an actress and putting more exposure onto the game anytime a celebrity's playing, especially someone like her. She's really nice.
She's good too, good at poker.
Yeah, I would say that she's good for a celebrity, right? But I think the next step for her, she should probably, because she's playing for a lot of money, she should hire a good poker coach. And I don't know, when you work with a good poker coach, she could be a totally different. She could be 10 times better.
But she doesn't have to necessarily. Maybe she doesn't want to be a super poker stud. Maybe she just wants to have a good time, and all these outlets are using her to be like, okay, let's bring more people in poker. Let's show her playing poker. If this is how you want to play poker, go ahead and play poker. I think it works out. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes it doesn't mean just because she's playing wild like that go hire a coach and get better. I don't think she needs to do that unless she really wants to.
I think she does, right?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Talk to her about it. And
We don't know for sure one way or the other.
Here's what I would say, right? If you talked to her before 2 years ago and she was hard on herself, right? I mean,
in the moment, but I think if maybe I caught me in a moment after I lost a huge hand, I'd have been like, no, I suck. Like I messed up. I don't know. Like it's just in the moment. But like I thought that watching her on that table, on that feature table, like she was a boss.
No,
you know?
she's great for the game. Yeah.
Well,
If she wants to get better, she will. But like, I don't think that saying, you need to go hire a coach.
All I meant is that here's how I look at it, right? It's like a raw ore, you've got to mine that, right? She's got the potential. She's got it there. She just needs someone to refine the ore into a usable, you know what I mean? Make that into gold bars, baby.
I know I could use a poker coach at this point in my career, but I did get a kick out of the headline because it was pretty rough going for her on Hustler Casino Live on a stream because she was lost, what was it? She got felted four times. In 5 hands.
And then the Kings versus Kings hand where she chops.
Yeah. And then there was one hand where she folded, and had she not folded, she actually would have won that one.
Right, yep.
And we actually have a clip from that Hustler Casino Live, which we'll show right now.
Unfortunate pot from Miss Arden Cho.
Very lucky.
You changed. Before the pot was like 200, 100.
Oh, and faces a rip. Snap.
Oops, you win. Damn this stand-up game.
Yeah, we should.
Nice hand. I have 10. I'll give him 10 when it comes. You got it. Thanks.
I think this is a good
All right.
hand.
This is so
This would be a great
unfair.
spot to pick up a big.
She gets stacked, then she gets stacked, then she folds, would have made the nut straight.
Do you guys have grapefruit juice?
How is this right?
Do you
There's
have
no
grapefruit juice?
mercy. She went to Kenya to save kids.
All right, you already have a button. So
Poker
Yeah,
doesn't
but now I'm
care
buried
at all.
like 100. Now I gotta build some pots.
he doesn't have a
You
button.
got like over 100K in 3 hands.
Yeah. So
I'm sure
let me
she
build some
knows
pots worth
Tan.
money for you.
Thank you for that.
Asking for grapefruit juice?
Jesus Christ.
Is that weird?
36.
Yeah. No kindergarten here, Steve. I don't think that's. Can I play my hand? That's a very sophisticated drink. Now I have to show him that I play hands, and you're fucking ridiculing me in the middle of the fucking hand.
When did he put on a sweater?
What?
11,000.
Get out the way, Miss Arden Cho. Get out the way. Don't do it. No.
All in.
Oh, God.
Good luck.
Ace.
It's just 10K. Yeah, it's less than that.
It was a call, I think.
Come on. Lauren. For the kids. The Kenyan kids. Just
What's happening right
flop a flush.
now? Oh, you're waiting for.
I can't do this. She has
She
to
actually
win
went
one
over.
hand.
No, I called. I have less than 11.
I'm taking a break if she loses. I can't watch this anymore. Oh, she's flopped dead?
Oh,
What the
cool.
fuck,
Wow.
dude?
That's like crazy. Nice hand. I don't think I can win. All right. I have 25. No, just give it. I don't want it. I think these
Yeah,
are
take
really
those cursed
unlucky.
chips
Right,
away.
Keep rebuying those bad ones.
Let's get you some new chips.
Yeah, give me new chips. All right, well, that was less fun than I thought it would be.
All right, so there you have it. Rough going. I don't know. I've been there. I swear I thought of this when I saw this clip, kind of, because you don't know this, but it's when we played together at an MSPT Venetian once. I sat down on basically it was the one time I was like firing bullets, basically going all in, busting, and having to go back.
Sure.
Like I did
We've all been there.
Yeah, like 4 times. And but one of those bullets was I got moved to your table. We both got it in against somebody else. I don't remember the hands. I think I had ace jack. But like we both busted in that hand, and then ended up. But that's what
Back
I don't
in the
know.
rebuy line.
That's what it made me think of just trying to get something
try
going.
again,
but-
try
Sure,
again.
no.
But she laughs it off, like I mean, great personality, great presence. Like she didn't get angry, it just is.
Speaking of presents, birthday presents for Phil Hellmuth.
Presents.
In Vegas this past week and celebrating
Happy
his
not really birthday, Phil Hellmuth.
his 60th birthday except for he doesn't turn 60 until July 18th. 2 months in advance.
Just a totally normal thing to do. Have
Right.
your birthday 2 months in advance. Have a bunch of, definitely not for attention. What was it called? The Billionaires Bash?
He's
so cool. I wish he's so cool. He's so good
That's
for the
the
game.
only
We all
time that
love Phil
Elon Musk
Hellmuth.
could make it.
The Besties Billionaires Club.
That's so
birthday bash.
It's so corny. I can't imagine like.
I get a kick
I
out
would
of
be
it.
embarrassed. What an embarrassing person.
He did say in the videos that it was the only time that a lot of these guys could get together, like
Sure.
Kevmath, who is one of the some guy like Kevmath, just big businessmen. All these guys
Sure.
are legit big businessmen. Say what you want, love him or hate him. Phil Hellmuth has cultivated a very strong network that really works to his benefit, and they do seem to be friends of his. Plus, look, the World Series is there, right? Like the World Series literally ends the day before his birthday. And I know Phil Hellmuth, he actually has been really great in the last month or so in terms of helping me with some projects. I put him in touch with some people who needed interviews, and he's good, but he's made it very clear. I will do these interviews. I will happy to help you and do this right now, but I'm not going to do it during the WSOP. No interviews. Like he does dial it in and tries to focus at the WSOP.
No, for sure, and that's as he should.
So maybe to say, hey, let me just get the birthday stuff out of the way.
But after the WSOP, Phil, if you have an actual birthday party, us at Poker News, not Mike, would like to be invited.
No, I think Phil owes me an apology. Like legitimately, I think Phil Hellmuth 100% owes me an apology for the way that he's acted towards me the two times I met him.
Not just you, I'm sure.
No,
Like
yeah.
you're
No,
not
no,
just
no, but-
standalone.
Of course not, but he should apologize to those people too. I've never, when I said the thing I said about coming to the WSOP for the first time, seeing all the people, every other person I've met has been amazing. Negrani, the one time I met him, was wasted, actually. That doesn't count. The Knights won the cup. But other than that, like every person I've met has been super kind, inviting into the poker world. And Phil Hellmuth was so rude and dismissed me as absolute nonsense, cut me off while I was giving him his flowers.
You gave him flowers?
Well, it's
His
a figure
props,
of speech.
yeah.
I was telling him how how as a poker player growing up, I've always idolized him, and he was my favorite. And that this whole time, get that out. I'm a ray of sunshine today, boys. So I'm telling him how much I like him and how much everyone else is shitting on you, Phil. And as I'm saying this, and I'm like, my whole life I've been waiting to meet you, and as I'm saying that, he looks over at somebody. He's like, they never respect me in the 10K yesterday. They did this, and he's like, everyone else at the table's looking like, oh God, he just like ignored me. And then the next day, I'm talking to one of my buddies, Ryan DePaulo. He comes up, he cuts in the middle of the conversation. He's there for 10 minutes bragging about his billionaires and his doctor, how his doctor, only billionaires have access to him, and he'll see him at any time. He'll fly him on a private jet, and he's not even looking at me. He's like standing in between me and Ryan, and it's like,
so maybe this series, make it your goal to give him some dead flowers, like go find him and just like talk some shit.
No, I'm excited to play with him because 100%.
I do say so. I actually really like Phil, but I'm also not dismissing because I've seen him do that
Sure.
to people, right?
No, he was my favorite. Him and Tom Dwan were my favorite players growing up. I love Phil Hellmuth, and I always defended him against all the shit that everybody else would give him. So when I met him, and he just showed me his true colors. Like
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've seen both sides of Phil. I've seen him do that sort of thing. I've also seen, the really nice family man, the philanthropic Phil. He's raised a lot of money for charity and things like that.
And that's fantastic.
Right. And I will say this, I did enjoy the 60th birthday shenanigans that he got up to. He was sharing a lot of it on social media. In fact, we're going to show some clips. The first one, we're just running back to back, but the first one is him at the airport. And then he went to the Poker Go studio and he's filmed for High Stakes Poker, which should be fun. Jennifer Tilly was there, Nick Airball. I like that dynamic. Kevmath was also in that game, and other businessmen were there. And then he shows some clothes that he got, and then shows him leaving on a private jet, and that's where he name drops Elon Musk. Oh yeah, Elon Musk showed up for 10 minutes or whatever it was. I didn't see a picture. Yeah, I didn't see a picture of that, but let's show those videos right now.
Ready? Yes, sir. All right. In Vegas, when the limos pick you up, they take you to 0 level. And then you move on. I'm filming High Stakes Poker tomorrow with my best friend, Kevmath. Jeffrey Hausenbold, Stanley Tang, and Sammy, and Roble. It's going to be like 6 people from my home game.
Where are we?
We're 0 level. We're going to be right over there, that SUV behind this one right here.
Rolling into Vegas. Pretty nice. High stakes poker, $100,000 bind tomorrow. I'm risking my own money, 200, 400 lines. All right, here we go. Friend, Kevmath. Airball.
Oh, hi.
Welcome to our home game with Sammy, Stanley, House, me, and Roble's been playing in the home game, so it's like 6 of us.
What about Tilly? Tilly, hi.
Jennifer Tilly is the top.
Save the best for last.
Jennifer Tilly is at the top of every list. You and I filmed. Actually, it comes out tonight. Oh my God.
Oh, what?
The big game comes out tonight.
Oh, the big game, yes.
On Fox. Oh my God.
Yes, so fun. That was
and
such
I
a
will
fun
just
game.
say this: there's a hand that will have 100 million views coming, and Jennifer was a part of that hand.
I was part of that hand. It would have been better if, well, you'll see. Crazy.
Tonight on Fox, the big game. Right now, we're filming High Stakes Poker. I always tease Dan. I'm not even going to go into Stanley. I'll tease him on the camera instead. Too nice of a guy. Roble, thanks for having us all.
I'm glad you guys are here. I'm down a lot of money, so I needed all my wealthy friends to come.
Roble, I heard you tried to have kings hold up against Ace King or some bullshit hand like that.
Well, you have to watch the season to find out about that.
That's the right
There may
answer.
be a new record pot.
Oh boy, here we go.
You're going to have post-traumatic.
Here we are. None of my friends will be on the video, but they bought me a wardrobe. They think I need a new wardrobe. I'm a black and yellow guy. They brought me this amazing wardrobe, shoes, this really nice bust. My 60th birthday isn't until July, but it was the only time we could get together, so some of my besties really appreciate them. Thanks, guys, for a nice early 60th birthday. All right, here we go. Flight to LA, where I'm gonna play some tournaments at the Commerce Casino. Including I'm gonna host a $2,000 or a $1,000  8-game mix on Wednesday. Play some other tournaments and play the Tournament of Champions. Best birthday weekend of my life here with the Besties. So honored that our guy Elon Musk stopped by for 10 minutes. And now I'm all cocky. Elon came to my birthday party. I'm so cocky. Shut up, Phil. Stay focused. No time for ego.
All right, so there you have it. Happy 60th birthday to Phil Hellmuth, early birthday. But we will see him at the World Series of Poker. And love him or hate him, you got to admit, like when he's at the World Series and he makes a run at another bracelet, it is a little electricity in the air. So I'm excited to see if he can get number 18 this summer.
I'm part of the player haters ball, baby. I love the hate.
It wouldn't be a series without him, though.
That's true. Moving on to thank our sponsor this episode, which is 888 Poker. They are in the midst of their Spring XL series, one of their most popular series of the year. In fact, I think this is day 4 of the ongoing series that's going to run for 2 weeks. There are, I believe, 40 events going on, over $2 million in guarantees. It is quite the site and series to play. So if you're able, check out 888 Poker. You can go to PokerNews.com, see our review, and download, take advantage of bonus codes and all of that jazz. All right, let's talk about, speaking of guarantees, there was some big guarantees this past weekend that didn't quite get there.
That's past weekend. Okay, it was Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers.
Happy Mother's Day, Mommy.
But there was an enormous amount of events for some reason. And everybody was like, oh, it's Mother's Day, all these events overlaid. I think these events all overlaid because there were so many events, right? We had the Series of the Commerce. We had the tournament at the Lodge. We had the WSOP Main at Cherokee. We had an MSPT in Cleveland. We had a Borgata Main. We had, I'm forgetting one. There's another one.
The circuit started in Southern Indiana. I legit didn't even know MSPT was in Cleveland.
There was a Cleveland MSPT. Yeah, there was so much. I think I'm even forgetting another one, but just so much going on. I mean, yeah, two of those.
Run Good.
The Run Good series. Yeah, that Run Good got phenomenal numbers too for a $600 tournament. That was $85K for first place. That's
good
insane.
For Run Good. They're awesome.
We're
people.
That was a great location though too.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, for all those events, they were stocked. I mean, right? Like poker is alive. Like it was Mother's Day weekend. All those events. Yeah, two of them, like in Borgata and the Lodge, missed their guarantee, and that's a bummer. But look how many people still came out and played. Look how big those prize pools were. That was just insane for this past weekend. And, you know, I don't know. I didn't play anything.
I hate to be the one that disagrees, but I think Mother's Day 100% had to be, right?
I mean, maybe, but I mean, probably a little bit, but like there was so much going on.
Well,
like
I made day 2, and whenever I posted in a poker chat with like there's like 50 people in there, 10 of them were like, "What's wrong with you? You're playing on Mother's Day?" Like,
I do think that it is a contributing factor for sure. Not maybe the largest one.
I mean,
I know I play in the softball league here in like bye weeks. There was
you're
no
a softball
games.
guy?
Yeah, there was no games this week though because of Mother's Day. That said, I think the bigger one, at least of the Lodge, was, if you've seen the tweets from Doug Polk. So the Lodge was
they got crushed, right?
Yeah,
$500,000 or something.
Missed it by like $400 and something thousand.
Yeah, $417,000 overlay,
like,
$3,000 buy-in, $3 million guarantee.
It was still $428,000 for first or something like that, though. Like that's still a gigantic payout, a gigantic tournament.
Well, according to Polk, they wake up and realize that there is work being done in their parking lot, which I've been there before.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's kind of
I've been to the Lodge once before, and it is in like this shopping complex where it shares a parking lot with all these other different businesses. There was a comic book store right in that same lot. That's I remember this.
Okay.
But parking has always been an issue there, right? And especially when they close down half that parking lot so they can do repaving or whatever it is. You have a $3 million guarantee that you're sweating already, and then you learn this. Like, that's kind of shit your pants sort of thing.
That's rough. Yeah. When I went there, I remember there was no construction and it was hard to find a spot. I had to park like all the way at the other end. I think I parked in like whatever the Carl's Jr. or the fast food place is there. I parked in their parking lot and had to walk over. But yeah, I see how that would be an issue. But it still was gigantic. And the guy that won, Mike Lang, oh my God. When I saw that he was at the final table, I was like, he's going to win for sure. Like he's just like a beast. I played with him a few times. Like he's so methodical too, and he's hard to read, and he's just aggro, and he's a great
sexy
player.
too. I like him. He's looking good.
He's a good guy.
I like that guy.
Yeah, that's a name that I hear over and over again. So maybe a guy to keep an eye out for the World Series of Poker.
He's been around for a while. He's been like a high stakes cash grinder out of California. And then I actually played with him at the Venetian, like during that 5K where I ran deep. And I had played with him on day 2, lucky enough to sit to his left, thank God. And we talked to him all day long. His girlfriend came by, and then we made the final table together, and I got 3rd and he got 2nd. So he's so hard to play though. Very hard to play.
The Borgata also had their Spring Poker Open going. That was a $2,700 buy-in main event, $2 million guarantee, and it missed it by about $250,000. So, I mean, you're looking at $667,000 or thereabouts in overlays just between those two.
That was another one too. Like my hot dog, my one of my favorite hot dogs, Jamie, was out there. Jamie Kerstetter out there commentating on the Borgata, and she was telling the hot dog, she's like, you guys should come out here if you can't. Like, this is overlay. You got to come out here, you know. But it's hard to get all the way across. And who wants to?
No, I just assume that the Borgata had nothing to do with Mother's Day. New Jersey is just a smelly state in general. I think people just don't want to be there. You know what I mean? But it is weird in my mind. I want to give Doug Polk and the Lodge it shit happens. But Borgata, I want to be like, no, they screwed it up. Like,
I want to give Doug Polk credit because it was funny. I think he put out a picture of him and Brad Owen were there, and like, we're not happy right now.
I did see that. Yeah. I love Brad and Andrew. They're the best.
But
they're
then
awesome
also
people.
sent out a tweet like, look, it sucks, but we're going to take our lumps. We're going to honor the guarantee, and we're going to keep moving forward, which I think is just great business practice in the poker world.
That was great, like for sure. And I'm just saying, like there were still so many other tournaments too that got people going. Like the Midwest Grinders were at Cleveland. You know, they were playing the MSP at Cleveland. That one gets big. A lot of West Coast people just went to Commerce. You know,
but even the Vegas, like the 600 Venetian I played was a 150K, which for a weekend tournament they're normally like 500Ks or 250s. So, and even with that, it was like 32K for first. 35 was like the smallest first place prize I've seen. So, no.
Yeah, but I think it speaks to your point a little bit too, in terms of if you have an event, a $600 buy-in in your backyard, are you really going to go across the country for the same buy-in, even if it's going to be a bigger field or a bigger guarantee? And I think with all these events, like they still drew from their local pool, but they really made, if you're going to travel, made you choose.
The New Jersey / Texas having a big event at the same time, I wonder how much. I mean, yeah, I would assume they probably share some player pool, you know?
Well, and Texas posted it as a 4-day event too. So, and people don't like that. You know, it ended up being 3 days because of the overlay, but they posted it as a 4-day event. So it's like if you have an event in your backyard, or you could go to Commerce, or you could go, you know, somewhere closer, like for a 2-day event, you know, that might be just as, you know, not as large, but still as lucrative. Like you would do that instead. So I think that might have been a misstep too, just posting it on Mother's Day weekend as a 4-day event, like.
Yeah, I think probably making it a day 2 Monday might be better. I mean, I don't know, but could be wrong.
It's tough in certain tours, right? So we had this conversation on the Mid-States Poker Tour when I worked for them, the MSPT, many times. It was designed for weekend warriors. We would usually have a day 1 flight on Friday, day 1 on 1B on Saturday, come back for day 2 on Sunday.
On Sunday, fly out Sunday night.
Right, and then get out because
you don't want to overlay, obviously.
Well, that player base largely were the 9 to 5 crowd or farmers. Like they got to actually go to work.
Same deal
Monday.
with Texas, probably. Yeah,
right. And I think, but then you get the problem like we had on the MSPT. The fields start getting so large that you just can't finish it in that time. Or in some instances, we had days where you're coming back at 11 a.m. for day 2, and we're not finishing till 3 a.m. the next morning.
You know, that happened so much in 2021 too, when everything started, like nothing was really coming back but the MSPT. There were MSPTs everywhere. And
right,
so they got
pandemic,
so huge because just there was nothing else to play.
Who
so
won
people
Player
were
of the
flying.
Year after that? That was a really big.
Who won Player of the Year in 2021? I can't even recall.
Was it Kyna England?
It's crazy because there were so few events, but the MSPTs were like some of the only events to go to during that time. And so they were getting huge where the casinos just couldn't manage like the overflow too. And they were still posted as 2-day events. So I think some of them went, you know, like you said, they restart at 11 and then they go to like 2, 3 in the morning just because.
Can I ask you a question? When you won Player of the Year in 2021 for MSPT, what was the feeling like when you like knew you had it locked up? Like what was going through your mind when you realized, holy shit, I'm about to win this?
If I remember it came down to the last stop.
It was at the Venetian. Yeah, it was at the Venetian in December, like the New Year's event. And I had to I think we talked about this already. Like I had to sweat Taylor Howard or something. He was in it. And like they announced it over the intercom at the Venetian. And I don't even know. I don't think I had feelings yet. I was just like, oh, I won. But then later I was like,
do you remember like when it hit you where you were like,
yeah,
I did it. I did it.
I mean, I think like I actually kind of thought I was going to win anyway going into that event. I still like fired like 5 bullets just to make sure, you know, like you got to try it. But just, you know, getting that notch, it feels good. Like, I mean, what about you? Like you it's just old hat to you now. Like, you don't even
I think like correct me if I'm
like,
wrong.
Whatever, again, I'm going to be player of the year no matter what.
He was going to be player of the year in June, like half the year still to go.
Yeah, I guess it's a different kind of feeling when you're like, I got this locked up.
Well, no, to be fair, the first player of the year in 2021, it came out of the blue. It was insane. I still think we're living in a simulation. It doesn't make any sense. You're going to tell me I went from being completely broke, no money in 2020, like living. Thank God my mom helped me with rent and everything, to winning 2 player of the years in 3 years. You know, just starting to play tournament poker. Like this has to be a simulation, right? I mean. It is
unreal for sure. Like, I mean,
it's crazy.
I don't think I've won. Maybe I've won like, I don't know, like 7 or so biggish tournaments, but like, it's hard to get a player of the year. Like it is
very difficult.
And it just, you carry that with you and it feels good. So
I think you both should be very proud of that.
Oh, thanks, Chad.
Anybody can bink one tournament and get lucky one tournament, but to win Player of the Year.
Who called it? What's his name? Oh God, I'm gonna fuck up his name. That Blaze guy. He was like, anybody can lunchbox a tournament, and I was like, because he asked like the Twitter community. He's like, would you rather win a bracelet or would you rather have 5
the Brazilian
rings?
cat.
Yeah.
Blaze Bourgeois or whatever it is.
He's like, anybody can lunchbox a bracelet, but if you win 5 rings, only 89 people have won 5 rings. I'm like, that makes a good point. I'll still take the bracelet though.
No, me too. I would trade my 6 rings for another bracelet.
Speaking of rings, we got to talk about it. Maurice Hawkins.
Our guy.
The WSOP Circuit. Cherokee wins the main event.
Oh, bitch ass Chad Holloway's got to bring up Maurice Hawkins again. Here we go.
I got to give him 16 rings now. Puts him firmly in second place on the all-time list behind Ari Engel.
So he passed Josh again, huh?
Yeah, Josh is going to have to come back. $259,000. That's a good chunk to pay off some backers, I would think.
Pretty sick win.
Absolutely.
Good job, Maurice. Good job. My buddy Matt Higgins got second. Good job, Matt.
I'll say this, because obviously one of the shows we did early on in this PokerNews podcast was about Maurice Hawkins.
Episode 1 of this, right?
Yeah, and he does no fan of mine by any means. And look, you give him props. He is good at poker. That's clear. Yeah, 16 rings. Josh Arie gave him props on Twitter, after having the opportunity to play with him. His skill as a poker player, for me, is never in doubt. It is just the stuff off the felt, obviously, right? And
I've heard a lot from people times where he berates people. Like I a little bit in Chicago saw it myself too. But it's it comes with just being cocky. It comes with being who he is, and we're not all perfect people. I guess I'm not sticking up for him. Like he should be a little bit better. Be a little bit better, Maurice. But also good for you.
I think this is a good opportunity for him. So I remember with the MSPT, Dan Bekovic won 2 MSPTs in short order for 6-figure scores. Mm-hmm. And he used that money to make whole the players that were affected by the Midway Poker Tour silver debacle, right?
The doubloons,
Right.
The silver money.
Now, maybe those players probably never get made whole if Bekovic didn't win that money. But I also have to give him props for, like, all right, you fucked up and it was really bad for a year or two or whatever, but at least you're making the effort to make it right now.
Yeah.
I'll give you credit for that. A lot of other people did too. And now Maurice has that opportunity, in my opinion. Now, I don't know what the $259,000, if he's got a backer right now or if he's in makeup or he's got to pay other people or what have you, but he has the opportunity to throw whatever Randy Garcia, the guy who is the old backer who's got a court judgment against him for a lot of money, but has said, just pay me, I don't remember what it was, $20,000, $30,000, and we'll just call it even. If you go and pay off Randy Garcia and he comes up publicly and says, you know what, it was ugly, it sucked, but we're good now, we've come to an agreement, that would do a lot for Maurice Hawkins and his reputation. And I think, bitch ass Chad Holloway notwithstanding, as a player who does have a legacy, like he is a WSOP Circuit ring winner 16 times over and competing for that. I don't know if reputation and legacy is something that's important to him, but if it is, this is a good opportunity for him to get things square. But we'll see if that actually happens.
If I'm his PR team, you know what I mean? I'm like, you got to pay him, bro. You got to pay him. And
he definitely hires a PR team.
No,
you should contact them.
That's what I was going to say. Is if he's unsatisfied with their current, I'll do it for 1.4% of tournament earnings, no sweat. But if I'm his friends or if I'm anyone giving advice, if I'm Maurice, I pay the money back that I owe people. I go on Twitter, I tell everyone I'm the motherfucking goat in this thing. Come see me. You all can talk as much shit as you want. I got 16 rings. You know what I mean? Like my weight holds name now. Anybody owes me money, I dare you to come out. No one comes out. You all better apologize. I would just go on a rampage where I end up. I think he can come out of this. If he played it right, he'd come out looking pretty good.
Yeah, but
especially after everything has happened. But you can.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you look at any sort of thing, you look at any of the poker.org posts with him recently, if you look through the comments, it's just everyone berating him for owing people money. So like, if that was me, I'd be embarrassed and would pay them back, obviously. Maybe he just doesn't care about his reputation or whatever, but yeah, obviously the guy's a monster.
You gave him some flowers just now too, huh?
Did I? You think that was?
That was some flowers. Yeah,
I don't know. I'll say this too, though: to get a nice score like that right before the World Series of Poker is not only good momentum, but probably does open other opportunities, right? Because no matter what he goes through, no matter who he owes money, there's always going to be somebody there to probably loan him other money.
Yeah,
sure. And another backer, like, oh, he's not going to do it to me, even if he's done it over there. But
yeah, 100%. I mean, I don't know. You hate to see stuff like this go down. You know what I mean? Like it'd be cool if he came out of this and was a changed person and. You know, because here's the thing. He's an interesting personality. You know, we talked about what's Hellmuth going to be on with whatever the Billionaire's name and Nick Airball. Dude,
high stakes poker.
No, if you, I could curate a way better lineup than that for TV. Like Maurice Hawkins. There's some other people, but yeah, I mean, you can. There's so many new people in poker today where you can create. You could recreate the Mike Manisals, the Phil Hellmuth with newer people, and they're not getting as much exposure. You know what I mean? So I
got to ask Maurice Hawkins for Game of Gold season 2.
Hey,
phenomenal.
He would make for good TV.
Good TV.
Yeah,
for
I don't want to
sure.
see it. I don't think he deserves it. I don't want it to happen. But he would make for good TV.
No, I think it's I think it would be great TV.
I think there's so many. Like Mike makes a good point. There are a lot of people like recent that we could pull. I mean, I can think of quite a few. Like even that Mike Lang guy. Like that would be his style of play is very good for TV. Like people would like to watch that. It's just
Scott Ball's really good too.
it's
Mike
just
Holtz, I heard, is great.
It's more of those like, do those people want to do that too? You know, like
I'm 100% positive I could put together an 8-person lineup that would be the most entertaining cash game on television. Like I think they're missing major opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, I know that the guys at Poker Go, Brent Hanks and stuff, works hard, and it is a little more difficult than just like there's politics.
Is Brett the one that controls the lineups?
Most of the time, from what I understand.
But
I know there's politics involved. There's some people who will play with certain people, others who won't. You know, it does get more complicated.
I think I'm supposed to be doing commentary with him for one of the events for WSOP this year.
Oh, that's cool.
I got to talk to Platt and see what's cranking, but yeah.
Well, one person that I was happy to see win a big event over the weekend was Lex Veldhuis.
Lex EV.
He is a streamer supreme. He took down, surprisingly, it was his first COOP title.
Oh, cool.
That
was his first?
I know, that's exactly what I thought too.
COOP? Any COOP?
Any COOP.
What?
I know. He's been playing for so long. This one was a scoop title.
How is that possible?
That's exactly what I thought too.
I would have guessed the over-under for Lex Veldhuis COOP titles 18.5.
Yeah,
or 14.5 or something.
This was his first one. 5,200 No Limit Hold'em Titans Scoop number 41 event high. Wins it for $140,000.
Sick.
Not only that though, he streamed it because he is a streamer and he's got a huge audience.
Yeah.
And we do have a clip of that victory. We'll show that right now.
Yes! Oh my God! Yes! Oh my God! Oh my fucking God, dude! Oh my God! Holy shit! Holy fucking shit!
All right, congratulations to Lex Veldhuis on his first scoop title. Very impressive. Speaking of impressive, the WSOP Circuit stop at Commerce, which will eventually lead to the Tournament of Champions, is underway. And I think it was the first event.
The opener.
Yeah. Christina Gollins?
Yeah, my girl, Baby Shark. Let's go.
Baby Shark, doo-doo-doo-doo. It's Baby Shark, doo-doo-doo-doo.
She went in, I think she went into the day two with like a significant chip. I don't know if she was chip leader or she just was up there. And then she went into the final table as chip leader and just bossed that whole final table.
She's another one of those people where if you're in the poker community, you play a lot of poker, you know who she is. But people outside of like the viewing community should get more exposed to her. I mean, she has a great style of play. I play a ton with her. And like, yeah, everybody knows who Baby Shark is. So I think Christina should, I mean, she gets all the flowers for me for this one. I mean, congratulations. Elvis got third too. Her partner got third in
a different event, the mystery bounty. But
yeah.
Christina got, that's her second ring. And that's a sick win. It was a $600. It was the same weekend. That's what I'm saying. It was a $600 tournament and it was $105K for first.
Yeah.
That is so sick. And she won that. And the final table, I think they're streaming it on GG Poker. I keep seeing it that pop up on YouTube. It was just like a boss ass final table run. Good job, Christina.
No, that fold with
Way
ace
to
king
go.
three-handed was disgusting.
Just,
very sick stuff.
I mean, what a fold. Like, I don't know that I would have made it, but like, I mean, it just ICM, like these guys fuck each other up.
I don't
you
think
know?
it's much
like,
ICM as much as she just had to have a dead read. Like
she's
clearly
very exploitive. Yeah, she's very good at that. Like, she is a super intuitive, like exploitive player. And yeah, I mean, pick a better spot. I don't know. Like, it was great.
Yeah. 1,483 entries in that tournament.
1,483. That's
on Mother's Day weekend in California.
well,
the Commerce.
They don't care about their mothers.
Or was it
there.
the bike or the Commerce? The Commerce?
It was Commerce.
Commerce.
Yeah.
Commerce, yeah.
But I also think that the housewarming had it had 4 day one flights, I think.
Probably, yeah. I mean, it was the opener for their series, and it's like
LA where there's
yeah, and just people from Vegas go out, and Christina lives in Vegas, and it's like it just way to go, Christina.
Yeah. It was a good way for the WSOP to kick off.
She's one of my favorite people in poker. I really, I think she has a very bright future, and I mean, if she wants it, the spotlight could be on her.
Yeah. Well,
come in and guest host sometime, Christina.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe this summer during the World Series of Poker, but I have a feeling she might be crushing it. Another big winner, and this was another one of those events with a huge turnout for $600 buy-in, the Run Good Poker Series at Graton Casino in the Bay Area in California. So another California stop. And we love the Run Good. You were up at Reno
I love
not
Run
long
Good.
ago.
I'm kind of sad I missed it. I just I love the Run Good. They do a great job. They put on a fun series. They make sure that their ambassadors are having a great time. And wow, that one again, $600 tournament. $85K for first.
Yeah. Jonathan Wang taking that one down, 773 entries for that one.
Way to go, John.
Now that I'm thinking about it, what was the Borgata buy-in that overlaid?
2,700.
I think it was just the price point. I think people with more money generally have to spend time with their mothers on Mother's Day. I don't know if that's correct or if I'm just an idiot, but like I just feel like if you have a bunch of cash, now you have to buy your mother something really nice. Like I don't know. No, I'm an idiot. That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, you should always buy your mother something nice if you can.
Yeah, no, without a shadow of a doubt. Shout out to my mother.
Well,
what'd you guys get your moms?
I do think
massages.
Oh, I got mine a bottle of perfume that she liked, and she's in Wisconsin, so I had to have it mailed to her. But
me too. I sent my mom some jammies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think there is something to be said about this $600 price point, right? Because it is these huge fields, huge turnouts. And like, look, I'm not rich. If I play a $600 buy-in and I have a shot, like I don't want to win 15,000. I want to win a shot at 85,000 or 105,000. You know, that money can make a big difference. So.
Do you think we were having this debate at the Venetian the other day? Well, do you think there's a big difference between the 600 and 800 price point?
Little bit. I mean, it's the same thing. It's different between the $1,100 and $1,700 price point. You know what I mean?
I think that's a bigger gap, though.
It is
right?
a bigger gap. You're right, because like I could fire 3 times in an 1,100 and feel fine, and that's not even as much as firing twice in a 1,700. You know what I mean? So like I like to have the backup, and like the 600. I don't know, 600 just feels smaller.
Well, I think when you extrapolate it like you just did, right? A $600 price point, say you fire 4 bullets, that is $2,400.
Mm-hmm.
800 price point, that's 3 bullets, right?
Yeah,
so
sure.
I think when you extrapolate it, I kind of agree with Kyna on this one, that there is a bigger difference.
Yeah, no, I think there is. You think it's just as big as the 1,100 to 1,700 gap, the 600,
Probably the
800?
same,
I think
though,
it's
like-
pretty close.
Yeah.
I think it's, what's really interesting is numbers and psychology and how it works. Like, I can't tell you the amount of times online that I've played like a 777 or an 888. And like, in my mind, those are so much less than a 1K. But it's like 888, I mean, it's literally right there. So like, I wonder if there's I haven't really given it much thought, but there might be like a psychological place in there where there's I guess maybe it's 600. They've probably done the research.
Well, it's like 600. You feel more comfortable. You're like, okay, like you budget, like, $2,500. You're like, okay, I can fire 4 times. Like, hopefully I don't need to, but I can, But it's like in 800, you're like, okay, I can only fire 3 times. It's
I'm
like,
just trying to
squeeze all the money out of the recreational community slowly.
I mean, give me those $365 buy-in WSOP circuits. That's my sweet. That's where I want to be.
The rake is too high on those.
The rake is pretty high.
I guess
too
we'll
high.
just find out the WSOP numbers, because I always feel the same way during the WSOP about the difference between the 1,500 and the 2K. Like, I think I played
That's a big difference in my mind too, for some reason.
It's like I played a 2K, and I think this might have been 2 years ago. I played the 2K, and it overlapped with the seniors event, so no one. There were no seniors, and everybody was just like a wizard. But it was like cool and it was fun, and like you just. it's just different though. It's a different price point. So you didn't see a whole lot of the recreational players playing the 2K. It was mostly all the pros that were young enough to not be able to play the seniors.
You know
right?
what? Yeah, the thing that I really hate is when the circuit stops, they schedule the seniors and the ladies at the exact same time as the high roller. So it's just like, what are we doing here, guys? Like, you're just trying to make the high roller be no seniors? It's kind of crazy. I don't know.
Well, let's talk one last story, and that is to mark the 1-year anniversary of Doyle Brunson's passing. It was May 14th, and it was interesting for me because I had gotten access to his audiobook, which is out right now. It's been out. An audiobook of his autobiography, The Godfather of Poker, which released back in 2012. Right before he passed, in the year or so leading up to that, he worked with Poker Royalty, his agent, and others to record. So you actually get to hear Doyle Brunson himself reading his life story, which I did. What most people don't know is that audiobook is out. It's been out. It was released, though, shortly after his passing or right around that time. So they didn't want to go out there and promote it, heavily.
Sure, yeah.
But I got to tell you, listening to him tell those stories, getting to hear his voice again, it was like, it made me realize how lucky we were to have them get him to translate this into an audiobook.
That's super cool, yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to listen myself. Yeah.
It was just, I don't know, I really enjoyed the experience, and it's going to be something that lives on, right? Even that celebration of life video that Poker Go did after his passing, that won the Global Poker Award, they use some of the audio from that, right? Because you get to hear Doyle tell the story or talk about poker and things like that. And that's preserved now forever.
No, Poker Films also, Michael Bailey, he did a thing on Doyle Brunson that you guys should check out on YouTube under Poker Films. Just Doyle Brunson. It's very, very cool stuff.
We talked about first WSOPs earlier, right at the beginning of this episode, when you met Phil Hellmuth for the first time.
Sure.
So my first World Series of Poker was back in 2009, and I drove out from Wisconsin, and I was just this huge fanboy. I was coming out to intern with Bluff Magazine.
Oh, color me shocked.
Coming up to work for Bluff Magazine, but I was really just wanting to meet everybody.
Sure.
And I've got all these pictures of me with, Devilfish and Hellmuth. And
show the pictures.
Well, I'm going to show at least the one, my proudest one was with Doyle Brunson. And so to get a picture with Texas Dolly was just absolutely amazing. And then I remember coming out, I believe it was the following year. I was going to work for PokerNews for the very first time. And I came out with two of my friends a little in advance. And back then, Todd Brunson used to do a beer pong tournament right before the WSOP. It was down at a bar Fremont called Hogs and Heifers.
Okay.
It was the bar that was the inspiration for the movie
God, that sounds
Coyote
so
Ugly.
fun. Todd, do that again.
It was awesome. Like Tony Dunst was there. I think Tony Dunst and his partner won that year.
Oh my God, that sounds so much fun.
Doyle was there.
Tony's the man too. I love Tony.
Doyle was there. I think he was partnered with Zach Clark, and I watched Doyle Brunson play beer pong. Yeah, I didn't get to play against him, but I got to watch him play.
We got to recreate this. I feel like we have to host a beer pong tournament before the WSOP now, like in his memoriam or whatever.
Wow, that's actually a really good idea.
Okay, a dibs on Jeff Manson as partner.
Okay, yeah, sure. That's fine.
It might not be a bad idea. I don't think we have enough time to pull it off this WSOP,
We can,
but
yeah,
maybe
let's
next
do
one.
it. It'll be fun.
Do you think that Jeff would pick you over me? Are you out of your cotton picking
No,
mind?
I picked him first. That's why I said it. Dibs.
Well, do you guys have any Doyle Brunson stories? Did you guys ever get to meet him? Did you ever chat with him?
So my very, very first time playing the main event, I made day 2, and I was at the table with Doyle Brunson and Jason Kuhn. And so, of course, we were the feature table, and it was pretty cool. Like he was a little, I asked him to tell some stories, and he did, and that was pretty cool. But he also was a little bit like, he was like, you all play too slow. Like,
no, that's gangster. That's really gangster.
I'm jealous because I've gotten to interview Doyle. I've spent time with him, chatted with him, but I never got to play with him.
Yeah.
So to get to play with him,
it was
I
like
think
my
is cool.
very first main event too.
Yeah.
Like, and I get to
That's
be on
really
the
sick.
feature table with Doyle Brunson.
Was this a couple years ago?
It might have been the October one.
Yeah. I think I watched this. I must have watched it. Yeah.
What about you, Mike? Any Doyle stories or exposure? No,
none. No. I mean, I've always watched them on High Stakes Poker and yada yada Poker After Dark, the old main event photos and stuff. But no, I've never Never met him.
Crazy that it's been a year that, from his passing. I remember where I was when it happened and had to, write that story or what have you. But highly recommend that you check out his autobiography. You can get it in print. It's been out since 2012, but I highly recommend the audio version because you get to hear it from Doyle Brunson in that Texas drawl of his. And if you want to, we're going to give away an audiobook to one of our listeners here on the PokerNews podcast, right? So I'll tweet
Voiced
this out.
by Doyle himself.
Well, yeah, the audiobook is.
Fire.
Yeah. And so just if you're listening to this, go on social media from Poker News. We'll do a post and just, like it, tweet it. We'll probably have people leave a comment on the YouTube video, like it there, and then you'll be entered to win. And then we'll randomly select somebody. And then next week's episode, we'll let you guys know who it is. And then I'll send them the audiobook.
No, it's very cool. Yeah, awesome. Good luck to whoever wins. Good luck to everybody. GLGL.
And then we've got just one more episode here at Level 9 Studio before the World Series of Poker will be upon us. I mean, it is there. It's 2 weeks away.
Exciting.
I am just so excited. My advice to anybody coming out, just for the first time, enjoy the experience. Familiarize yourself with the areas. Get there early, figure out how the lines work. Very important. Figure out what lines you need to be in, where you need to go for things. They could be in either Paris or Horseshoe. There's a lot of, don't be afraid to ask any players you think look like their experience. Everyone's pretty friendly. That'd be my advice.
And come say hi. If you're fans of the show and you like watching us, come up and say hello.
Absolutely. Yeah. Come say hi. Let us know what's really
They'll treat you better than Phil Hellmuth treated Mike.
I will. I promise you.
We'll bring you flowers.
Yeah. As for the Poker News podcast during the World Series of Poker, we're going to do 2 shows a week. They are going to publish on Tuesdays and Fridays. So we're going to hit either side of the weekend. We'll cover everything that's going on in the World Series of Poker. Now, you guys are players, and I know you're going to be on that grind, so you may or may not be here with me. If not, I'll have some other co-host. Who they might be, I don't know. Probably somebody who's busted a poker tournament.
Sure, that adds up. Yeah, we'll make sure to replace us with swagalicious humans.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It should be a lot of fun. So, but we will be back next week as regularly scheduled. New episode on Friday. Until then.
Well, I do want to say one thing before we end. I just wanted to get well wishes to 2 people.
By all means.
Clyde Gaskins, dealer at the Aria, absolute legend. Clyde Snack Attack Gaskins on YouTube. He has an awesome channel.
I watched you on that. I messaged you on his show.
I did an interview if you guys want to see. This guy's got so much personality. He's so nice. If you've ever played any of the Poker Go stuff, I'm sure you've had him deal to you. And he's beloved by the poker community. So he's just getting over some, he had heart surgery. So I think he's coming home today. And then Kevmath, as well.
Yeah. Thanks for all you do, Kev.
Yeah, we really appreciate you, Kevmath. And if you guys don't know about him, check him out on Twitter. The things he does for WSOP and the players, it's great. Really good guy.
Well, we're at it. Bob Smith, tournament director, foreman at the World Series of Poker.
Yeah, right, Bobby. Yes.
Yeah, and they had a GoFundMe for him. He needed some hip surgery, and his the insurance situation wasn't there. The poker community responded huge.
Yeah,
and so Bob, I believe, has had the surgery, or he is real soon.
I think he had it.
Yeah, and then hopefully we'll be at the World Series. I love Bob. He was there.
No, he's my favorite. Yeah. He's the GOAT TD.
2 of my favorite things with him real quick was when I made the final table for this, when I ultimately was this bracelet, he stayed late by about an hour because he just wanted to be the one to do the final table announcements, in seat 1.
That's sweet.
So that always meant a lot to me. And then Bob's always had the backs of reporters. And one of my favorite stories in that regard was I was a reporter. I asked a guy's name. He wouldn't give it to me. And it was at that point in the tournament, we needed to know.
Yeah.
And the guy was an asshole about it. So I went up to Bob and I'm like, hey, Bob, this guy won't give me his name. He's like, what table, what seat? And I told him. And Bob just charged up to that guy. And he just real authoritative, when he's in his suit, he's like, sir, I need to see your ID right now. And the guy,
pulls it
was
out.
scared. Yeah.
Says his name's Phil Hellmuth Jr., it says.
Bob took it, just was locked eyes with the guy, grabbed it, just went like this, handed it to me. He didn't take his eyes off the guy.
That's so gangster.
I took it. I wrote down the guy's name. I put it back in Bob's hand. Bob just put it right back in his, and he said, "Thank you, sir," and then walked away. His way of just sticking up for us. So.
Yeah, no, nice. He's one of the floors that understands how important the spirit of the game is, and what intention. He's so cool. Yeah. Super nice guy too. Yeah.
Well, to all of them, get well soon.
Get well soon.
Hopefully, see you at the World Series of Poker. And as I said, we will be back next week. And until then, we'll keep a seat open for you.
See you later, alligators.